then they took money in bulk. Woman pikin dey the street dey hawk. Still dem talk say make we no talk, but thank God say Mayegun don come. So my people make you loud, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. My people make you shout, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo.
Hello there.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó lódodo. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó lódodo.
Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are joining me from. It is Mayegun Live. Read the caption of this broadcast, the description of this broadcast. Read it if you can quickly. Then share the broadcast by inviting your friends and your not so friendly friends. Tell them that Mayegun today. Reactions have started the following. Yesterday's useless utterances of Devil Umahi, who chose the Peter Obi's comment as an excuse to drag the Igbos into Tifnumbu's contentious, controversial coastal highway. Why? There is more to this tonight, so let's just get straight into it. So good evening to you once again. Good morning to you and good afternoon to you from wherever you are joining me from. Thank you so much, right, for sharing this. It is Mayegun Live. But before I delve into this fully, I'm going to give you the context for tonight's headliner, all right? But I quickly want to say one or two things as well to all of you who have been very much in support of this, of this platform, especially myself, Mayegun. So I want to say a special thanks to our own prayer docent. Thank you so much, Ma, for all of your every time generosity. And indeed, Paul is also grateful. I hope you got my message anyway, because I don't know how to actually get that past to you than this. So thanks so much, everyone. So let's get fully into it. For context, yesterday, the Minister of Potholes, that is now, well, Devil Umahi, that is now the Minister of Coastal Highway. There is so much questions concerning this fraudulent coastal highway. Of course, they are pushing different propaganda to make it sound like, oh my God, it is the greatest thing about to happen to Nigeria. Fair enough. They said it is going to be Tifnumbu's legacy project. And it is going to be one singular, greatest, the biggest, the most costliest project in Nigeria's history. 15 trillion naira project. And it didn't go through any sort of a tender board. It didn't go through any bidding. It didn't go through the National Assembly for the conversation around this, right? It was all done by Tifnumbu and Umahi. And this is the first time where, a project will be consummated and it will be commenced without any due process being followed. And then they are like, who are you asking us to take the permission from? I mean, argument around that is pretty much like, plus or minus for those, depends on the side of the divide that you are. But none of this should involve the Igbos. It has nothing to do with the Igbos. Okay? Peter Obi was arguing the viability or the plausibility of this project where 90% of your roads in Nigeria are completely unmotorable, federal roads. That's pretty much a brilliant argument put up by everybody. Atiku actually started it. It was Atiku that put them to test. And a lot of people have also put their own opinion on this. But Devil Umahi is playing the devil's advocate. He didn't accuse Atiku of inciting Fulani against Tifnumbu. No. They said that Atiku is ignorant when he pointed out all of this. But when he got to the turn of Peter Obi, he suddenly turned to tribal dog whistle. So people have been reacting. So for context, Arise this morning, this morning show, they had a view on it. Just let's start from there. Then we'll get into others. Have you shared this broadcast? Oh, thank you. Have you liked it yet? Come on. Now let's get into it. From this table of the Arise, picking on this. Let's start from that.
The stakeholders meeting organized by the Ministry of Works to compensate property owners affected by the controversial Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road project took a dramatic turn on Wednesday after the Minister of Works, David Umahi, accused property owners of playing politics. The minister also accused the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, who has been quite vocal about the project, of inciting the people of the Southeast, who, according to him, are not well informed about the project, against the federal government. Let's take a look.
I just believe that my brother Landmark is simply playing politics with, politicians. Because there is nothing to claim. It brings me to some of the comments made by my brother, His Excellency Peter Obi. I'm not supposed to comment about it because some people have already done the work, and I saw what Arise brought, the say courtesy channel, and they were bringing, similar scenario when His Excellency Peter Obi was governor, and he made a statement. He said, any infrastructure that stands on the way of road construction must go, and there will be no compensation paid, quote and unquote. That's what he said. But look at me, by the human face of Renewed Hope Agenda Administration, we are even paying for people that are illegally staying on the coastline and do not even have, valid infrastructure and valid documents. That is messy. That is messy. Some people darken counsel without knowledge. There is devil in details. When you bring judgment, when you condemn people, you bring judgment upon yourself. And that's what he has done. And I think he's inciting some of the Southeast people that are not well informed. He's inciting them, and he gets them into trouble. And he doesn't go to fight for them. Wisdom is a defense. We know money is a defense. But wisdom gives life to those that practice it. And I want our people to have wisdom because I'm involved.
All right, Dave Umahi here. He made a lot of statements yesterday that were, I believe, quite inflammatory, because, I mean, some people were saying, I mean, who made him the mouthpiece of the Igbo people? And he's talking about the fact that, Peter Obi is inciting the Southeast people. I mean, I don't know where that is coming from, because I believe he was referring to the video that we played yesterday where, Peter Obi had talked about reconstructing the roads. But, in Anambra State when he was governor, Peter Obi has responded. Well, in his response, Peter Obi, in a series of tweets, clarified the video in circulation, stating that during his tenure as governor of Anambra State, he made it abundantly clear that all structures obstructing existing roads and lacking approval will be removed, and that his actions were aimed at prioritizing the repair and maintenance of existing infrastructure to safeguard the livelihoods of Nigerians and to ensure the efficient use of resources. He also addressed the comparisons and Umahi's accusation. His tweet reads in part: "The ongoing destruction and disruption of jobs and livelihoods associated with the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road construction sharply contrasts with my administration's efforts to improve infrastructure while minimizing adverse impacts on communities. Regarding allegations of incitement against the government, I firmly reject these unfounded accusations aimed at tarnishing my character. My focus is on fostering constructive dialogue and inclusivity rather than engaging in divisive politics. Claims of incitement are baseless distractions. I have always advocated for unity and advancement, refusing to partake in reactionary, divisive politics." And we know that of Peter Obi because we have seen a lot of his statements on Twitter. He's very active on Twitter, and he always calls for unity. Again, in clarifying the video that was in circulation, Peter Obi maintained that he was removing infrastructure that was already on existing roads, and it was different from what's actually happening now.
I'm happy Peter Obi has clarified, and I think Umahi was just rigmaroling and trying to divert attention by saying Peter Obi is inciting. He was not inciting anybody. There's something you call scale of preference in a project. We can't be doing a project of over 1 trillion of over 7 kilometers when the Ekpoma road is in a very dire condition and people cannot pass that road. There are other roads that need attention. So it's not sailing. So this is trying to distract, is not working.
Absolutely. Well, Dr. Abati, before I come to you, in the meantime, during that interaction, the governor had said that the federal government has put a human face to the whole process, and they compensated property owners with 2.7 billion naira yesterday. But in the meantime, users on social media have pulled up videos of bad roads which are overdue for reconstruction. Well, here is a video of the Benin-Auchi Road as reported on May 1st.
Jesus, and then they tell her now, driver dey inside door. He don't ready. Driver dey inside door. You know, see some wicked, he don't. Oh. And they try to say Mark no go pass this thing. May not be saying avoid this thing carry.
And look at that disaster, Dr. Abati. And this was what Peter Obi had posted in 2 of his tweets. He did not talk about the fact that the government cannot construct the road, but he was talking about maintaining old roads. The stakeholders.
So that, like I said, it's for context. Before we delve fully into it tonight, there is nothing that there is nothing that Igbos or the Easterners have to do with this. But Devil Umahi decided to blow the dog whistle. And the ethnic tribal jingoists, the APC, Lagos Abobaku, the Yoruba Ponus, the Ronukus, Ronu Nazis. They finally found something to kind of say, let's feed on this. But the question is why? Like, why would you drag your people into something that they have not that the Igbos are even complaining that, why are you building coastal roads in Yoruba land and not in our land? Why are you not, there is nothing out there. It's just the general comment of, what are you guys doing? Then they singled him out. I want to let Rufai finish. Then I will continue. Please.
May not be saying avoid this thing carry.
And look at that disaster, Dr. Abati. And this was what Peter Obi had posted in 2 of his tweets. He did not talk about the fact that the government cannot construct the road, but he was talking about maintaining old roads. And we are seeing this happening, and this was circulating only yesterday. But let me take a tweet from FS Yusuf, who wrote, "They want to build a coastal road linking Lagos to Calabar, but Lagos-Ibadan Expressway is a disaster. Lokoja-Benin Expressway is a disaster. Kaduna-Abuja Expressway is a disaster. All our major economic roads, none is in good shape. It takes a trailer 2 weeks to carry goods from one region to another in this country. The eagerness to carry out this coastal road can possibly point to the fact that the contractor is in government, or a good percentage of the budget goes back to individual projects. I smell another elephant project." Dr. Abati, over to you.
Okay, a number of issues. I'm not taking them necessarily in the order of importance.
Absolutely.
Now, you mentioned Peter Obi. Peter Obi is not the first person to raise issues about that Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. Before him, Atiku Abubakar did. Atiku Abubakar questioned the procurement process. The Waziri Adamawa said, look, this project is something being done to promote personal business interest of the president. And he said, High Tech, the company that has been given the project, the original plan was that they would do it 100%, build, operate, and transfer, according to Atiku Abubakar. And how come the same company will be given 1.07 trillion naira for channels 0 to 3 of the project? Nobody has properly addressed that question. So the whole thing about all these questions being raised, whether by Waziri Atiku Abubakar or by Mr. Peter Obi or the media, is simply that we need more information in terms of transparency and accountability. And Minister David Umahi should not think that he could just wave it off. Again, with regard to transparency and accountability, it was Mr. Peter Obi who raised the question that why is this a priority?
Yeah.
Now, the question to ask with regard to that, what are they doing about the old route?
Yeah.
This our Lagos Calabar route, the main road now,
Absolutely.
the one that passes through Second Niger Bridge.
That's the main question.
What are they? No. Just wait a moment. What are they doing about that route? Because it is likely that the Tinubu administration will abandon that because that's also an important route, and then do the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. What all of this shows is that the Tinubu administration has now put a burden onto itself. With all the furor, the ulabalu that we have had over this Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, they have an obligation to complete it. Dave Umahi is talking about channels 0 to 3, which is in Lagos State. Now, if they don't go beyond that Lagos State, people will accuse this administration of just interested in creating a road in Yoruba land and not taking it all the way. So President Tinubu must see this as a legacy project because he will be reminded if he doesn't complete it within his tenure, whether he's going to use 4 years or 8 years, that he simply did it just to satisfy Yoruba Southwest interest. Northerners, even if he completes it, will say that this is a road that he has done in the South.
Right.
Now, you pointed out the example of Benia-Uchi route.
Yes.
There are so many other routes.
That's why I read that tweet.
There is the East-West route in the South-South. There is the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, where that's even in a better condition now. One of the things that the Buhari administration tried to address. But David Umahi has told us that they are working on other roads. He has talked about Badagry, Sokoto. He has talked about Calabar to Maiduguri. Now we hope that attention will be paid to all of these other roads. But these roads that you showed us this morning, it's a statement on the Buhari administration, the maladministration that Nigerians had to endure for 8 years. So much money was spent under President Buhari on roads. Where are those roads?
Those are the questions.
But President Tinubu has said he's not here to complain.
Yeah.
He knows he has inherited problems. Can he solve those problems?
Yes.
And can we have evidence that he's working at
of our grading leaders? Oh, Thunder, where are you? This is the time you are supposed to strike, so that you eliminate all of them, so that you have peace in our nation. We're trying them in one aeroplane, so that it will crash land in the course of their journey.
So for context, it's about those for and those against when it comes to using people's money to start a project that they cannot ask question about, awarded to your friend Shaguri, and no question asked. And then the alacrity at which they carry out the destruction of properties along that route tells or leaves so much to desire. But rather than them answer those questions, they will rather create a distraction. What is the Igbos business? Umahi called Igbos. Some of our people are ignorant. He called Igbo people ignorant. What did they do? What is their business in all of this? How did Peter? Because there's something I used to ask myself, and that was that during Boko Haram's time, when those Fulani terrorists, Northern Islamic jihadists, under Boko Haram, including the bigoted ACN Abobaku of Lagos, riling and pushing the bigotry and their religious fanaticism and all that against the Igbos, just because they won't bow for Belal. And that is a Boko Haram. Like those of them who were like appointees of Boko Haram then, how were they kind of coping? Like when they walk into a room where they are already plotting out, they are going to move soldiers to go and kill Igbos. Here is a story of a young man that suffered, not just him, what young people suffered under Devil Umahi in Ebonyi State. What they suffered. Devil Umahi is the former governor of Ebonyi State. By the time he was done, Ebonyi State is one of the poorest. In fact, it is the poorest in eastern Nigeria when it comes to human capital development, education in Ebonyi. Well, maybe that would tell why he has something against this guy, Obi. But some said it all started from when Atiku Abubakar jumped him in 2019 and picked Obi instead of him. And this was what Werewike said about him. So whatever it is between Umahi and Obi, why would you drag your own people into it, dog whistle them? Because, like I said, those of them who were under Boko Haram, who witnessed the hatred, the state-sponsored profiling of the Igbos in Nigeria, especially under Boko Haram, those of them who were Igbos in the room, I hope one day they will come out and tell us how they were really treated. And yet, they kept on doing all they could to help Boko Haram murder many young Igbos and make some of them disappear. For the record, listen to this.
Hello viewers, hello ladies and gentlemen, hello the world at large. I am Rita Chinemerem Anyego. I am a lawyer attached in Abakaliki here. I'm practicing here in Abakaliki. Over time, I've seen things happen. Over time, I've had things happen. Over time, I've had cases about a lot of injustice. Innocent people detained for no reason.